Let's pause our activity for a stretch break.
You delapan. Atur nafas, ambil nafas dari hidung, buang dari mulut. Kita masuk ke dalam 5 menit. Masuk ke dalam 1.
So I do not want to speak more on that. In terms of Asian Games and planning for the public health sector response and preparedness, I would like to talk about 3 key aspects. They're not the only key aspects, there are other aspects that have been discussed from morning and you will be discussing for the 3 days. One is, we do have this capacity in Indonesia. Indonesia has organized major events like that. So what is different this time? There's not much difference. However, quality improvement is about doing it right the first time and then keep on improving every time. One big difference is with Asian Games, the scale is going up in terms of the event. And Indonesia has done and faced a lot of emergencies and managed them very well. Have done mass gatherings for Hajj and other events. As Ibu Tina mentioned, she has been involved in the Olympics in London and afterwards in Brazil and the support and others. Likewise, we have Ibu Anu from Flinders University, Australia, and hopefully a team from here will be visiting the Commonwealth Games in Australia. So these are part of the network of globally that WHO has as collaborating centers for mass gatherings who have been providing support for similar events. I think in the World Map you saw the scale of different events and others that Ibu Tina presented earlier. So this is part of an ongoing support. The other point I would like to make is, now normally in exercises like that, we look at the risk and look at how we mitigate the risk and focus on prevention. However, about 80-90% of the effort actually goes on building the response capacity. I would like us to focus at least 50% of the energy on prevention.
One of the most important departments when it comes to preparedness for these Asian Games, because if we do the health promotion and the prevention aspect right, then we are going to be able to prevent a major health event. That's important. A related one and my third point is on communication. If we want to do prevention, we need to make sure there is adequate and appropriate risk communication that goes out to everyone, including the internal stakeholders who work on that. On that, I'm really happy to see a variety of different levels and institutions of government here. And we hope that this work expands before the Games towards a proper simulation that involves everybody, so that we have a chance to actually test the system through a simulation maybe a month or 6 weeks ahead of the Asian Games. But also communication is important, especially for media.
Selamat pagi, salam sejahtera untuk kita semua yang kami hormati WR to Indonesia, Pak Parani, Pak Ari dari kampus KES TNI, kampus KES Hankam, kampus KES lagi, Dirkes, suka Ari, Direktur Kesehatan, dan Bapak Ibu sekalian dari Dinas Kesehatan dan juga dari Kementerian Kesehatan. Syukur alhamdulillah kita bisa berkumpul hari ini untuk mengikuti pelatihan kesiapsiagaan aspek kesehatan masyarakat untuk manajemen kesehatan yang efektif saat penyelenggaraan Asian Games 2018. Pertama, terima kasih kepada WHO yang telah memfasilitasi penyelenggaraan acara ini, dan sesuai dengan tadi sambutan dari WHO bahwa memang
pencemaran udara situ stres, dan kemungkinan akan terjadi di level di DKI ataupun di level Jawa Barat. Kalau bicara di Sumatera Selatan nanti mungkin akan lebih sedikit kemungkinannya. Nah, maka kita mencantumkan rapid janji ini di dalam konsekuensi yang minor, tapi kemungkinannya juga kita bandingkan antara daerah tersebut yang DKI, nanti Jawa Barat dan Sumatera Selatan, kemungkinannya terjadi. Yang berikutnya adalah di sini ada faktor risiko pilkada nantinya, General Election for Local Government di tahun 2018 ini ya. Jadi kita cantumkan itu sebagai sebuah faktor risiko terjadinya peristiwa yang lebih cenderung chaos, ya, lebih rumit. Mungkin kita menyebutnya sebagai konflik sosial lebih mudah terjadi di situ. So we have to discuss about the traffic to all people. Okay. Baiklah, Bapak dan Ibu sekalian, kalau dari kelompok kami traffic jam kita masukkan sebagai salah satu faktor risiko. Apakah Bapak dan Ibu sekalian mungkin sepakat dengan itu atau mungkin ada pendapat yang berbeda? Tentu saja di sini banyak kepala, banyak otak, banyak pemikir. Tentu harus ada pendapat yang berbeda, toh? Ya, saya persilakan Bapak dan Ibu sekalian untuk menanggapi. It's good to discuss.
Karena nggak ada yang bertanya, saya coba untuk bertanya. Tetapi sebenarnya apa yang disampaikan oleh kelompok Hore sepakat sebenarnya apa yang disampaikan. Cuman dari meta plan yang ditempel-tempel itu posisinya ini yang agak bingung. Ada yang di hijau, ada yang di kuning, ada yang di merah. Meletakkan posisinya itu berbeda dengan pendapat persepsi di kelompok kami. Di minor ya, ya minor. Ya kuning ya. Nah, begitu juga banjir. Banjir itu di mana ya? Hijau ya. Nah, ya itu di situlah. Mungkin. Tapi kalau probabilitas resiko-resikonya sepakat. Cuman resiko-resiko yang konsekuensi akibatnya dampak itu minor, sedang, mayor, itu yang mungkin butuh kesepahaman di dalam ruangan ini.
Oke, moderat. Terima kasih Tina. Ya, thank you. Maaf. Dari kelompok sini mengatakan bahwa konsekuensinya adalah moderat. Bagaimana dengan kelompok yang lain?
Jamnya tinggi sehingga ini bisa menimbulkan resiko kesehatan gitu. Baik itu mau bagi supporter, kita tidak bicara atlet saja kan, tapi supporter, atlet juga masyarakat sekitar gitu. Jadi potensi public health problem itu kan dalam event ini nggak hanya mengikat pada atlet dan supporter saja, tapi seluruhnya. Gitu. Dan kenapa kita memilih almost certain? Memang ini jangankan ada event besar gitu kan, tidak ada event besar pun kemacetan itu sering terjadi gitu, walaupun memang minim konsekuensi gitu.
As usual, mass gatherings bring on a time pressure which is not present in some of our other daily activities. We congregate large numbers of people in small spaces, so stadiums and the like, whereby we can easily increase the number of people who are within a community that we have to service. Depending on how isolated it is, we can double, triple, or quadruple the size of that community just by the presence of our event. Participants move more mobile. The people who are coming to your event are coming from not only within the islands of Indonesia, but they are coming from Asia and broader around the international community.
Sampel makanan malam itu telah habis. Jadi untuk itu kita memberikan rekomendasi ke depan. Semua makanan disajikan harus disimpan di tempat penyimpanan makanan. Jadi harus disimpan sebagai sampel 1 kali 24 jam. Apabila tidak ada gejala, baru bisa dibuang, kemudian disimpan terus setiap penyajian makanan. Karena kita tahu, misalnya makan malam jam 7 dia datang, biasanya akhir jam 7 datang ke hotel itu langsung disajikan makan malam. Besok paginya dia ngalami gejala diare, kita mau ngambil sampel makan malam sudah habis. Jadi pengalaman kita untuk ke depan, kita buat protap yang baku. Biasanya sebelum event itu dimulai ada protap yang baku. Pengalaman kita ada protap yang baku. Di situ mulai dari surveillance penyakitnya, keamanan
We also
pangannya.
want to look at the experts that you can bring in to give you advice, to help you with the risk assessment, to any other things where you feel that you can maybe have bilateral agreements or have universities, etc., coming in and supporting you during mass gatherings. Another very big aspect that must have been mentioned time and again would be how you deal with media, how you manage rumors, reactive, proactive messages, how do you do that? And finally, the resilience of the system, how do you ensure that the system is strong enough to pick up things? And if you say there's nothing wrong, then how do you ensure that the information you're giving to your top-level managers, to your decision makers, politicians, whether they're backed up by a strong investigation. So these are the few things that you want to consider during the mass gatherings. I'm moving now to slide 4. Which talks about the planning, and again, I'm sure that it cannot be stressed enough, the command, control, coordination, and communication aspect.
By participants and communities, but also on the willingness of authorities to share or even endorse our messages. For example, large numbers of people can be sharing accommodation in small facilities during large mass gatherings. Consider again the impact of a significant public health outbreak during the Hajj, with up to 5 million pilgrims living in very close quarters in the encampment at Mina. What would the risk appetite of the Hajj organisers be in these circumstances, and how should that influence our risk assessment for our communications? Who will be impacted by the event, and how far do our communication strategies have to reach? Is it a contained group, or does it need to be much broader and much more inclusive? We've already discussed the importance of trust and relationships. This will influence the risk assessment when it comes to anticipated compliance with video-based online media have the potential for emotional impact by portraying images, whereas radio can provide ways to engage multiple community members in audio-based communication and also in-depth analysis of an issue. Digital and social media platforms are integral channels for communication during mass gatherings. Social media comprises a universe of digital platforms and applications like Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Reddit, Snapchat. Please don't ask me how these work, because I don't have a teenager available to explain them. Social media takes on a number of functions for multiple users during crisis. Signalling and detecting events, working as a platform that connects multiple users to share information about response and recovery processes, and also gathering information whilst sharing and observing emotions. Next slide is message design and dissemination. So whilst risk communication may occur in a pre-planned manner, we need to know about how that disease is spread, and do they need to know about incubation? We don't want to confuse people with too much detail, but we want them to do it. What do we want people to do? Know what and tell people clearly detail about this disease or the illness without telling them what to do. So if you were on that night, do we want you to go to a healthcare facility or a hospital and be tested? Do we want you to isolate yourself? Do we want you to talk to your team organizer, your participants, be clear about what we actually want? And then when we get more information, it comes back to our point earlier about our single source of truth. The organisers and communities know where our single source of truth then they'll come back. A particular course or route. So if you're providing emergency medical care in a stadium, then it's easier to quickly access and return patients to a place where they can be stabilised. And you can organise a stadium in that way, and it's an easier place to work. If you're looking at a marathon event or an ultra-marathon event, an event that has a course that runs for some miles or kilometres in your case, and sometimes runs over rough terrain and in remote places, then it can be very difficult to identify that an injury has even occurred. And of course, it's very difficult to get emergency care to the site and to evacuate the patient. Those extended events, non-focused events, are of considerable concern. In the context of the Asian Games, they will tend to be running events, cycling events, those events that take your participants away from the major venues.
Normal processes and systems, your business as usual, but looking about how you can strengthen them and build on them. One of the big differences with big mass gatherings, big high-level sports events, is the amount of media and political interest. You'll have seen some of the press coverage of what's happening in the Winter Olympics in Pyeongchang. It takes very little for that kind of activity to go on. What we want to do is to provide the improved preparedness to reduce the risk of that happening. We always look on mass gatherings as an opportunity to strengthen your systems, strengthen your ways of working, enhance them. All countries have an opportunity to do this, and we all look at a way of doing it around the event. You undertook your IHR joint external evaluation recently, and that the outcomes of that were very good. But
Inas Gok, representatif WHO dan para tamu atau sebagai instruktur. Bapak dan Ibu sekalian yang saya muliakan. Pertama-tama marilah kita panjatkan puji syukur kehadirat Allah Subhanahu wa taala atas limpahan rahmat dan karunia-Nya kita dapat berkumpul bersama selama 3 hari dan untuk pelatihan kesiapan aspek kesehatan masyarakat dan untuk manajemen kesehatan yang efektif pada saat penyelenggaraan Asian Games 2018. Saya sangat setuju dengan tadi yang dikatakan oleh tentu dari Kemenkes, dari Pak Asep, bahwa Asian Games ini terjadi pada tahun 62 dan baru tahun ini 2018 kita mengalaminya.